I mentioned dieting a few times in, or not dieting, but the type of diet you should have in my last videos. And people have started asking me of an appropriate diet and so on and so forth. These videos are not enough to go into depth of what you should eat, your macros and so on and so forth. However, I can give you some principles, and if you follow these principles, I swear you're 90% there, literally 90% there. You don't need anything else. So number one are things you should avoid. 3 things you should avoid, and that's it. If you avoid added sugar, and by the way, in the US, almost everything has added sugar. So you need to look at the nutritional facts, and you need to look at sugar contents and so on and so forth. So added sugar, number 1. Flour, typical like wheat flour and so on and so forth. So flour, that's bad for you, because you can have almond flour, which is fine, or various other types of flours. But typically the flour that bread and pastas and pizzas are made of, that's not good for you. And then number 3, processed foods, right? So chips, biscuits, bars, like chocolate bars that are filled with added sugar and so on and so. Anything that doesn't grow on a tree or on the ground or walks. So processed foods. So these 3 things, if you avoid, you're already over 50% over everyone else. Literally, at least minimum. If you, maybe I would say 80% better than everyone else if you avoid these 3 things: added sugar, wheat flour, and other types of flour that are not good for you, and then processed foods. If you manage to avoid these, you're golden. That's it. Just move on with life and enjoy life from now on. Obviously, I'm not gonna go into things that or you should really know that they're not good for you, like alcohol or drugs or things of that nature. I feel we have a basis, at least with my network, with my friends, we have a basis level of education, and I don't need to go into the obvious. And so with things that you should eat, 3 things: meat, vegetables, and fruits. That's it. Meat, vegetables, and fruits. That's the only thing you really need. So if you manage to source these items locally from farmers, from actual farmers that you trust, you've seen their process, etc., etc. I mean, you can't 100% trust them, but in our case, we have friends and family doing it, and we really know. We know the cow, we know the pig, we know the chickens. Like, we've seen them, we know what they feed them, and so on and so forth. So we're in a very, very good place, and hopefully you can do the same for you. Other than that, the only thing you can do is supplement, right? Like, go get your tests done at least once a year. We highly recommend it. Get all of your blood work, see where you have deficiencies, and if you have a vitamin D3 deficiency, just supplement with that. If you have an omega-3 deficiency, just supplement with that, and so on and so forth. And you will see that the moment you do these, just avoid those 3 items and then just focus on these 3, like the whole foods: meats, vegetables, and vegetables, and fruits. You can, if you're vegan, you can obviously not eat the meat. You just need to eat more protein-rich vegetables, so that you can get your protein intake as good as, let's say, someone that would be eating meat. That's easy to do. We've been vegan for several years. We actually enjoyed it. It was great. It's just easier for us to not do that. And so out of convenience, more than anything else, we eat meat as well. Because now we can find it. So when we lived abroad in other countries, more modern countries, we couldn't find good meat. We couldn't find naturally sourced meat that from farmers that we would actually trust. So we just decided not to eat meat. I'm not saying the legumes and the fruits were less contaminated, but at least we made a decision. We tried it for a few years, and it was fine. So if you have any questions around dieting, around health, around business, or lifestyle in general, let me know. Looking forward to helping you as much as I can. Thank you. See you. Have an amazing day.